Today, a driver will appear in court for allegedly packing a truck with dozens of migrants who died in the sweltering heat. As the death toll rises to 53, the political fallout is growing between the governor of Texas and the Biden administration, and it all comes hours before a critical immigration ruling from the Supreme Court. Joe Khalil will have more on that in a moment, plus Lieutenant Chris Olivares of the Texas Department of Public Safety joins us live. But we start with Kelsey Kernstein on this tragedy in Texas.
Mitch, that alleged driver is set to appear in court later on today. He has been identified as Texas resident Homero Zamorano, who's been charged with 1 count of alien smuggling, resulting in death.
Captured on a surveillance camera driving through a border checkpoint on Monday, the now charged driver of the truck discovered in Texas with at least 53 dying migrants inside. Authorities say 45-year-old Homero Zamorano was reportedly high on meth and tried to hide in bushes, then passed himself off as a victim later when police investigated the shocking scene. Another man, 28-year-old Christian Martinez, has also been charged in the alleged crime. Both men face up to life in prison or potentially the death penalty if convicted, according to federal prosecutors. 2 other men also charged in the case but face lesser charges. Texas Governor Greg Abbott demanding action.
The truck passed through a border point checkpoint. It was not inspected. It was not inspected because the Border Patrol does not have the resources to be able to inspect all of the trucks.
Independent journalist Allie Bradley, who's been on the ground for the last 10 months covering the border, says these migrant smugglers are extremely dangerous and deceiving.
What they do is they clone semi-trucks to make them look legitimate, so they're hard to spot. It's hard to see and hard to really process that this could be a smuggling attempt and not just a commercial vehicle moving goods through our nation.
Abbott now adding checkpoints and deploying more Texas military resources. And President Biden calling the deaths horrifying and heartbreaking, saying exploiting vulnerable individuals for profit is shameful, as is political grandstanding around tragedy. And my administration will continue to do everything possible to stop human smugglers and traffickers from taking advantage of people who are seeking to enter the United States between ports of entry.
And meanwhile, Bradley says that the Kinney County, Texas sheriff is now taking matters into his own hands, ordering deputies to drive undocumented migrants back to the border checkpoints for processing. Adrienne?
All right, thank you so much. We are going to talk a little bit more about this right now by bringing in Lieutenant Chris Olivares of the Texas Department of Public Safety. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us once again. The death toll in this tragedy, 53 people now dead in San Antonio. You were there during Governor Abbott's news conference. What do you believe that this means in terms of all of the statistics we're seeing? An overwhelmed Border Patrol, the highest number of migrants in endeavoring to cross illegally in decades, and now this.
All right, so good morning. Of course, we have never seen such, a smuggling event at this magnitude where we see 53 immigrants that lost their lives because of a human smuggler. But this is a daily occurrence along the southern border. We've seen human smuggling events every single day involving high-speed chases where a human smuggler would crash and kill immigrants. And just speaking of that, we actually investigated a crash yesterday in South Texas where a human smuggler was being chased by local law enforcement, crashed his vehicle, and 2 immigrants died because of that. So this is a daily occurrence. And again, this has been happening ever since last year when we saw the influx of immigrants coming across our borders. It's all because of the lack of the border policies from the federal government, the lack of interior enforcement. And now the state of Texas is having to step in again, once again. So what we're doing now, and what Governor Abbott mentioned yesterday during the press conference, is actually deploying additional state resources to the border to focus on these commercial vehicles, because again, we have seen an increase in human smuggling events also involving commercial vehicles where these human smugglers are smuggling immigrants in these trailers and the trunks of vehicles and wooden crates, all these different methods and tactics that we're seeing now, because again, they're able to exploit the vulnerabilities along the border and profit off of these immigrants that are coming across our borders. And it's only going to continue to get worse, tragically, what we saw in San Antonio on Monday. And of course, the event that we saw yesterday in South Texas where 2 immigrants died because of a car crash. But again, tragically, we're going to continue seeing these events take place unless there's some actual action by the federal government to actually crack down and enforce the border.
I want to speak to Kelsey mentioning the president. You mentioned the federal government response. You mentioned this being a situation where people are being exploited, but President Biden specifically using that same language. Exploiting vulnerable individuals for profit is shameful, as is political grandstanding around tragedy. No doubt that the president is actually speaking without naming the Texas governor. and in terms of what can be done and what needs to be said when incidents like this occur. What is your response? What would you like to see President Biden do?
Well, I mean, regardless of the politics aside, I mean, the fact of the matter is that we have not seen this border crisis. We have not seen the influx of numbers that we're seeing, prior to 2021. And I'll put this in perspective for you and the viewers. In the year 2000, we had one single month where we saw over 200,000 encounters. Ever since 2021 to present, there have been 5 months where we have seen over 200,000 encounters along our border. And the month of June is projected to again see another month of over 200,000 encounters, over 445,000 known gotaways for the fiscal year of 22. Plus, we talk about fentanyl. We have never dealt with a fentanyl crisis. Last year, over 107,000 Americans died because of fentanyl poisoning. In the previous 5 years, that's more than what we saw in the previous 5 years combined of deaths. But again, and also this border crisis and the fact that we have the influx of immigrants and fentanyl and criminals that are exploiting these immigrants, the cartels are able to become even more powerful because they're profiting off of immigrants, are profiting off the manufacturing and the distribution of fentanyl that's killing Americans every single day. So what I would like to see, like, of course, the state of Texas would like to see is for the federal government to actually step in and take action, enforce those policies that were effective prior to 2021, because they were effective. We have the record lowest number of encounters along our border and also the highest number of apprehensions, of actual arrests. And we didn't see a fentanyl crisis prior to 2021. So they need to actually step in and take action and enforce those policies and secure the border.
Lieutenant Olivares, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And I know that everyone there in Texas is looking for answers. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.